You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. ESPN put out its top 100 players of the college football season. Interesting exercise to try this. The top 100 players in the country. I want to remind you, there are 134 FBS schools now. So you got 134 FBS schools. I could multiply the 85 scholarship players, but really, it's not even about 85 scholarship players. Let's just say it's the 22 starters. So if you've got 134 Division I schools or FBS schools, 22 starters, that's 2,948 starters. I mean, hey Siri, what's 134 times 85? That's 11,390, okay? So there's 11,390 scholarship players in the FBS. There's 2,948 college. There's 3,000 starters in the FBS. Trying to find the 100 best players is an ambitious task. But there are 5 college football experts over at ESPN who got together through 4 rounds of voting and then conversation. They came up with their list. James Pierce from Tennessee, the defensive end, was the number 1 player on the list. It's probably a surprise to some. I mean, most of us assumed it would have been a quarterback, but in 2 seasons at Tennessee, 16 and a half TFLs and 12 sacks. You'd think Harold Perkins might be around in that category as well with those numbers. Perkins actually has more TFLs in 2 seasons than Pierce, but whatever. Mason Graham, the sophomore defensive tackle from Michigan, number 2 on the list. Travis Hunter, number 3. Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan, number 4. Luther Burden, 5. And then there we find Will Campbell, number 6 on the list, 6th best player in college football for the 2024 season, according to this ESPN list. You don't have to go too far till you get to Harold Perkins. They got Perk at number 14. I know there's a lot of people who are excited to see Perkins in this sort of queen piece on the chessboard role. I know I'm in that number. I know earlier this week I was talking about the interception by Paris Shand at the line of scrimmage, and how Shand got the deflection and the interception. I was talking to Jacques Doucet earlier today. I was actually on his podcast, and I guess he reminded me like it was actually Perkins that got the deflection and Shand got the interception. So Perkins continues to affect the game in so many ways. And then Emory Jones, LSU's other starting tackle, number 47 in the country. So both LSU and Alabama have 2 offensive linemen on the list of the top 100 players in America. Of course, with LSU, it's Campbell and Jones, your bookend tackles. So that was it. There were 3 LSU players on the list. I shouldn't say that was like that's it, because obviously that's super impressive. If you're worrying or wondering about the rest of the SEC, Georgia had 6 players on the list. Alabama had 5. Let's see. Texas had 4. Ole Miss had 3, along with LSU. And then Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas A&M had 2 apiece. And Ohio State led all schools with 8 selections. When I saw this, I thought, okay, well, who's not on the list that should be? And I think we probably default and say, well, why isn't Nussmeier on the list? Well, Nussmeier started 1 game in his college career. It's hard to justify putting Garrett Nussmeier on a list like this. Or even, I know we talked about the Manning watch list last hour, and Nuss wasn't on the Manning watch list, although there were 6 SEC quarterbacks. Well, when you've started 1 career game, it's hard to justify. He's going to have to earn it. So I do sort of understand that. The guy who I think has a chance, like at the end of the season, to be on this list that's not there now is Mason Taylor. Because when you look at Taylor, I'm bullish for a couple of reasons. Obviously, he's played a lot of football. He's a 2-year starter. He's healthy. He has gotten bigger. He's up to 255 pounds, maybe 260 pounds. So he looks like Kelsey and Kittle and like those prototype tight ends. He's starting to look like that as he fills out his frame. He's got the pass-catching athleticism to make all those plays. But the other reason is his numbers last year were good, but I do think that they're going to be better because there's going to be more targets. What LSU did a year ago, I'm not saying they were wrong to do it the way they did. Obviously, they had the best offense in college football. But Malik Neighbors had 89 receptions. Brian Thomas had 68. Mason Taylor was next with 36, about half the number of receptions that Brian Thomas had. So when you take Neighbors and Thomas, I mean, that's 150 receptions. That's not even considering the targets. That's just 150 receptions that have to go somewhere else. Even if Kyron Lacey goes from 30 to 60, doubles his total, that's still 120 receptions that have to go somewhere. And they're going to divvy up to C.J. Daniels and Chris Hilton, and I think that Taylor will get his 30 and then probably maybe another 15 or 20, get to 45, 50 receptions this year. And so I think he should challenge and probably surpass Thad Moss for the single-season LSU record for a tight end for receptions and receiving yards. And I don't know that he blows that number out of the water because there's such an abundance of talent at LSU among the pass catchers that I don't know that you're going to have one guy like Neighbors had 89 catches for nearly 1,600 yards. I don't know that you hit that number again. But could you see Kyron Lacey, C.J. Daniels, each with 55, 60 receptions, and then someone like Chris Hilton with another 45, 50 receptions? Yeah, and then I could see Taylor in that range as well. And now the numbers start to even to what it was a year ago. So I could very much see that playing out. But I think Taylor's one of those guys that could be there by the end of the year that's not there now. And I understand why he isn't now, but by the end of the year could. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.